Konene, kawe ni mtu waga unanifollow on Instagram, unajua jo, kuna vile this night, ile night na rekodi, nimetoka kwa show ya Sauti Sol, ni Soul Fest. Yes, Soul Fest, the 5th edition, and ilikuwa very interesting show. So, like, nitadu a whole review on that, but the way the show is set up, inaanza na the new school artists. So inaanza na kina like Chris Kaiga, Toxic Lyrically, nani tena jo, Njerai hawako hapo, and I don't know if to put Calligraph and a new school, but yes, inaanza na hizo generation, alafu hiyo set ya kwanza inaisha na Kali, then tukitoka hapo tunaenda kwa the second set. The second set ni old school, ile inaanza na Jua, alafu inaisha na Red Sun. Alafu sasa after hiyo set sasa ndio inakam Sauti Sol. So by time na rekodi jo ni asubuhi, but get your tickets man, like that show is worth it. Like kuna show ina happen kesho, itakuwa ni 3500 shillings, but for the number of artists you're getting, like let me see this list jo haraka jo, because nitadu a whole review of the show. Really enjoyed it. But yes, unapata Chris Kaiga, unapata Wianubia, Njerai, Mtoria, Lil Minor, Toxic Lyrically, Calligraph Jones, Jua Kali, Mr. Lenny, MOG, Daddy Owen, Sana Ipei, Jua Kali ana join tena. Then tunaenda kwa Necessary Noise. After Necessary Noise kuna nani tena jo? Kuna Nameless, na Nameless ana joiniwa tena na Mr. Lenny, alafu na kumalizia na Red Sun. Alafu after hiyo sasa ndio Sauti Sol anaingia kuperform the whole album ya Midnight Train. Worth every coin. Grab your tickets now. Nilienda the VIP show, haijaini bamba hivyo. Cheki bado ushamba yangu jo, bado sijaitoa. So, tutoke hapo, wacha tuongejea a few things that happened on Thursday. And one of the things that happened was Ruto alibaki patiana keys za hizi buildings za Mukuru. And one thing that I always say, Ruto winning is Kenya winning, unajua. So there are things that I can't be mad at. So of course, because of this, Ruto was having fun with it, and aka decide that to take another swipe at Kalonzo. Sumecheki, like saizi vile nimekuwa nikisema for a very long time, Kalonzo looks like the guy who's going to be the flag bearer with the united opposition. Everything is pointing at Kalonzo, and that's the reason why Ruto lately has, najua, been targeting Kalonzo. Wacha tusikie vile Ruto alikuwa anasema.
Kuna mwingine nilimuuliza juzi, kamuuliza my friend, mnasikia nyinyi? Kuna jamaa mwingine nilimuuliza juzi, nilienda huko nilienda Ukambani, kaenda kufanya barabara. Sasa jamaa mwingine nikamuuliza juzi, kwa sababu alikuwa ananiambia maneno mengi, nikamwambia wewe, mimi sasa ndio napanga barabara ya kwenda kwako. Wewe umekuwa uongozi miaka 50. Barabara ya kwenda kwako ni ya vumbi. Sasa nikamuuliza, sasa wewe unataka aje kuongoza Kenya kama akili ya kupanga barabara ya kwenda kwako hauna? Akili ya kupanga barabara hizi zote, sijui expressway, sijui hiyo ingine, atatoa wapi?
Okay. So history ya Ruto, of course, affordable housing. The funny thing is, hii wiki, now this is one of the things that we'll discuss na Dag Mtai. So the episode that's going to drop at 10 a.m. The episode kona Dag Mtai, and we were talking about, like I ended up bringing up Ethiopia, specifically Addis Ababa. So Addis Ababa is doing some crazy stuff. Kuna history ya affordable housing, getting rid of slums, and there's just a way that Ethiopia looks. Ethiopia looks super beautiful. And ungesikiza hii speech ya Ruto, ungenotice like one of the things that he talks about is his plan to make Nairobi beautiful. Najua, like build that highway from airport and try and make it, najua. So he talks something, alafu zile nachukua umse anatry kukopi Ethiopia more than even Singapore, and try to copy Ethiopia. But the funny thing is, I'm not even angry with that. That's a beautiful thing to do. I think my problem ikikam to history yote ya Ruto ni the fact that there's always a certain amount of thievery that happens, unajua like kuna zile vitu unashinda kwa like why are they doing this and why are they doing it in this way. So yes, kuna hii part moja alinibamba sana kibonga juu ya nini ku beautify, cause nimekuwa nikiteta sana juu ya story za airport. Like ukitoka airport, the first thing that you find is just something that tells you that you've just arrived in a third world country, and that would be good to change. Wacha tumsikize.
Tumesema ya kwamba tunajenga barabara zingine mpya kilomita 28,000. Nimesema ya kwamba tutabadilisha vile safari ya barabara na tutaweka hapa Nairobi hasa, tutaweka barabara nyingi dual carriageway. Nyinyi mtaona ile barabara kutoka airport, hii inapitia hapa barabara ya chini hapa ya expressway. Hiyo barabara tutajenga mpya na tutaifanya irembeke vizuri, ndio watu wakija Kenya wajue sisi ni watu manoma, sisi tunajua vile dunia inasonga. Amani aje bwana.
So hii naweza sema, if you are to ask me, these are all ideas that we are borrowing, not from Singapore, but we are borrowing from inaitwa nini hicho, Addis Ababa. So kauja cheki, endo baki umecheki video ya Odemaya ila nabonga juu ya Addis Ababa, and it's a beautiful thing. But now remember what I said, shida ya vitu za Ruto is you always take them with a certain, you always wonder like, is this thing anaifanya roho safi ama zi? Because kulikuwa na hii video ilikuwa released ya like what is it called, hizo Mukuru kwa jenga, and imeandikwa the new Mukuru phase 2, and you can see the flags, you can see watu hiyo akicheza, kuna bikes, kuna what. So when I see such stuff, of course I'm happy. Why? Because if he's winning, Kenya is winning. Unajua hizi I might not agree with easy affordable housing, especially if it come to rural areas. I don't think they're that important, although kumekuwa na the argument of using that ancestral land for farming. But I think still, if we stop subdividing the ancestral land, we can still live on it and still farm on it. So there's but sasa tuki-ignore hiyo, tunakam now to the headlines, because the headlines are what make you doubt Ruto and his intentions. For example, headline ya leo ya The Standard ni State House lodges, alafu ikabaki imeandikwa following last year's Gen Z pressure, President William Ruto announced new austerity measures on July 5th to cool public anger. He suspended plans to hire chief administrative secretaries, cut the number of advisors, scrapped the budget lines for the office of the First Lady, the Deputy President's spouse, and the Prime Cabinet Secretary's spouse, and pledged to end confidential budgets in executive offices while auditing public debt. A year on, the Controller of Budget reports a different picture. State House alone spent 4.5 billion in just 3 months, only July to September, the first quarter of the 2025-2026 financial year. Masikia hiyo? So basically 1.5 billion per month. And hapo ndio tunakuwa na shida. Then of course the Standard wakaendelea break down. So ikakuwa ni Executive Office of the President, total spending 1.04 billion, salaries for 63 million, domestic travel 49 million, or let's say it was a 50 to round off, foreign travel 8 million, hospitality 40.4 million, hospitality, fuel for Office of the President 12.35 million. Where the hell are they going? Then other expenses 275 million. Then tunaenda kwa State House itself. Kumbuka ile ingine ilikuwa ni Executive Office of the President. Tukienda kwa State House, salaries 690 million, domestic travel 293 million, foreign travel 147 million, hospitality 199 million, fuel, oil and lubricants, mpaka tunekewa lubricants jo, damn, is it a DD party? 98.5 million, routine motor vehicle maintenance 277.19 million. Which cars are being maintained? These cars zina maintain aje? 277 million to maintain cars. This is in 3 months. So the State House, let's say State House has 277 cars. It means we are maintaining each car in 3 months with 1 million shillings. That means tuna maintain kila gari na 300 million. Because don't forget, this is not fuel, this is just maintenance. Okay, kuna hase ni kushua tatetea gava, oh, ni bulletproof. You're bulletproof, we're gonna maintain you every 2 days. Okay. Alafu kutakuwa na insurance 109.4 million, utilities 81 million, rentals of produced assets 91.4 million rentals. Okay. Other expenses 3.1 billion. Other expenses. Then tunaenda kwa office of the deputy president to 31 million for salaries, domestic travel 42 million, foreign travel 1.72. Umse alispend more time, I guess, campaign Mbeere North. Hospitality 44 million, fuel, oil and lubricants 30 million, motor vehicle maintenance 25.87. Okay, is it going up? Is it 25 cars? 1 million. Other expenses 11.79. Total spent for 25.8. Alafu top spending ministries will spend, kama education will spend 68 billion. That would make sense. Defense 48.9 billion. I don't want to know how was that spent. We are not at war. Health 21.1 billion. Expect health to spend more than defense, but maybe I don't know. Roads and transport, of course, upon I understand. Labor and social upon as I understand. Pia national treasury as I elewa. But indo shida, like you see the amount of money we are wasting, where maintaining cars 277 million. Like, what cars are these? I want to know how many vehicles do we have at State House. I remember nikienda hapo and I was trying kuskukona a lot of cars there, but there's no car that should be maintained with 300,000 per month. If any car is being maintained by that car is not worth it, najua. And saizi tuna live in the era of ma Chinese ndio wana rule this new world, and Kenya could be, hata the president can decide, you know what, wacha nibonge na Jinping anipatie a bulletproof Xiaomi car and what. Hizo gari za nini zinakuwaga very, maintenance yazo ni kidogo sana. Unapata hata warranty, I think kuna places zile China wanapatia na warranty ya 1 million kilometers, like before sijua change batteries. It's crazy. But yes, so this is the problem I have. When I look at the amount of money being wasted, and then I'm told that we are going to turn into the new Singapore, this is where it does not align, najua. And not even the new Singapore, we can't even turn Kenya into the new Addis Ababa. We can't turn Nairobi into the new Addis Ababa, because Addis Ababa, one of the things ile nini kwa chiki, like kwa hiyo documentary ya Wodemaya, and I've mentioned it even on the podcast I drop at 10, is the fact that when those guys are being interviewed, they're saying that our president, our prime minister, he never speaks, it's just action. Wanasema hao wenyewe they can't recognize Addis Ababa, they've just seen it change kabisa, and it's changing right before their eyes. And why? Because I feel like the leadership there has decided it's about the country, it's not about individual pockets. If you're to ask me about this here Kenya, this is some individual pockets shit. This is people making a lot of money, and with such mentality where State House alone is spending 1.5 billion a month, I don't think tunaweza realize hizo dreams zile Ruto iko nazo. Those would be very good dreams, najua. Especially considering, I remember just before some of the protests that happened, I think it was either this year or last year, he was in Addis Ababa akicheck ile that power plant of theirs, that dam that they use to generate hydroelectricity. And yes, how many hydroelectric dam, I think, whatever, some power plant. I remember something to do with the hydroelectricity. Yeah, I'm a hydroelectric. So he comes from there, sees a few things that we need to do, but decides still he can't stay away from ile nature yake kutoka siku za KANU, where there has to be something for him to benefit. So I think that will be like, this guy can have all the grandiose schemes zake, and if you're just to control personal greed plus greed, the people around him, I think he'd be able to achieve a lot. And I'll still go back to what I've seen. he come to that country called Addis Ababa, not country, that town called Addis Ababa. There is a place far away, it's called Addis Ababa. Okay, so Ekonene. So the festive season is here. Na Lemfi wako na a very great offer kwako. Abaki umesign up ukitumia the promo code Ekonene, and on your first transaction ya $50 ukisend home unabaki umepata a $20 sign up reward. Najua $20 sign up reward on your first transaction of $50 only. Why? Because it's the festive season. Baki umechangamka, tumia promo code Ekonene, ingia Lemfi. Why? Upate the most competitive exchange rates. Alafu pia inakuwaga ni chap like transactions ziko instant. Changamka haraka, Lemfi, international payments for everyone. Ekonene. But yeah, tukitoka hapo wacha tuangalie story nyingine. Hii story nilicheki on SABC News on Wednesday, and ilikuwa story ya some Kenyans who got deported from South Africa. So the last Kenyan alikuwa nafika jana, and wacha tucheki vile wali report
ago or last month that there were 32 Kenyans who had applied to come to work in South Africa, and they were going to work with a organization. It's a Christian organization. Its headquarters is in the United States of America and also a branch in Nairobi. They were going to come here to help with processing of these Afrikaners who want to go to the United States of America. And therefore, when you look at what they were going to do, clearly it's not a scarce skills. And therefore, they were not allowed to come to South Africa to do that kind of work. That doesn't mean that the processing of Afrikaners who want to go to the United States of America is not happening. It has been happening. We saw when they left earlier on. And therefore, the question, this organization, when they realized that visas were not granted for these Kenyans to work here.
So nasikia story. So I think was it early this year ama ilikuwa either, I think ilikuwa early this year. Ndio kulikuwa na those 49 refugees were Afrikaners. Remember when Elon Musk was spreading the rumor that kuna genocide ina happen maside za South Africa. So of course us wakamwa that they're immigrating to the US. And in the process, somehow, I don't know, but they needed people to help in processing visas. And now Kenyans waka apply for those jobs. Wakaambwa, no, these jobs can be done by locals, so you don't need to do them. So the Kenyans pretended to be tourists, but wakaenda kuwa kuko. And that's why wakaenda pomeshikwa, and they were deported. But wacha tusikize.
And then these Kenyans applied, pretending that they are coming to visit, they are coming for holidays. And therefore, they came via Zimbabwe. From Zimbabwe, they went to Botswana and then South Africa. So you can see that their process of traveling, clearly they were up to something. And when they arrived here, they were supposed to be tourists who are supposed to return back to their country with no working permit or visa. And then they started working with this organization at some offices in Sandton, in Kelvin. It is not any of the American offices, either the consul general or the embassy. It was a private office.
Kitu nanibamba na hii report, unachekio flag ya Kenya ili kwenye mauma adhaja. Because one thing about Kenya is we have like one of the most unique flags in the world, like, and whoever designed the Kenyan flag knew their shit. Sijui kama ilikuwa ka nezataka kujua ili designiwa na nani. Because ujua ili designiwa I don't even know when it was designed, but was it designed by mkoloni fulani kale kwa graphic designer? But now would it have the colors that it has? Because shida ya our history is inakuwaga na ukoloni mob sana. Unajua, even like when we talk about the founding fathers wa Kenya, if we have to be realistic, it's some white dudes, unajua. Like, it's sad, but that's the reality. So I'd want to know who designed this flag, because this flag is unique kabisa. But wacha tuendelee kusikia how these people were working.
And they were working there. And therefore they were arrested because they violated the immigration laws of South Africa. You come into a country, you say you are visiting, all of a sudden you are working. And they were being paid by this Christian organization that is based in the United States of America. For the fact that they were being paid, it means they were employed. And then in a sting, they were arrested and they were sent back. No American official was arrested. Yes, there were 2 officials from the American office at that time. But after they did produce their passports to confirm that they are officials, they were not arrested.
They were not arrested. And so the Kenyans, shida tukidu vitu kama hizi, which I understand for the Kenyans, it's the hustle. So wali see an opportunity to work, so I won't even judge them for that. But sasa I think to put in funny situations, because sasa in Africa level, unajua sisi kama wa Kenya, we don't need visas kwenda South Africa. Ugandans need visas. I don't know if Tanzanians need, but Ugandans najua na need. At this point hivi najua hizi ndio vitu waga zinatuharibia. Now the rest of us inabidi tukienda huko. Ama tuanze kumonitoriwa, have you come to work? You go like, no, I've not come to work.
Problem is earlier there was a standoff when they were refusing to produce passports to confirm that they are working for the American office in South Africa. But there were no American official who was arrested. It is these 7 Kenyans who have since been deported. The 6 left at about 12:05 today, towards lunchtime. And the last one, the 7th one, will be leaving at 5:05 today, traveling back to Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes, so the one was traveling back to Nairobi. Ilikuwa reported that ashafika. So I don't know, like in one of those things where I understand the South African side, where of course you don't want people to come there with funny business, but I also understand the Kenyan side where it's the hustle. You're trying to make money, but now it puts the whole Kenya South Africa thing at risk. Najua sisi tunakuwa tu ni watu amka enda South Africa icheki baki umerudi, and of course kuna Wakenya wendaga huko and they get opportunities and they end up staying there. But sasa now because of this story yetu tunakuwa tu na that reputation, tunakuwa na ujuaji mob sana. So I'll be monitoring to see how this ends up affecting our relationship. But yeah, of course a very fine morning kwako. So niambie jo, what did you think about your launch ya Mukuru? Because when Mukuru was also being launched, kuna wase walianza kuika two term. Imenikumbusha think nilicheki, I don't know kama ule professor aitwa Kagwanja alikuwa anasema ati Ruto ashaanza kutanwa seo one by one, slowly by slowly. Alikuwa anasema it's very dangerous for his opponents to underestimate him. Do you think that's actually happening? Is he converting people one by one, ama are people just like overestimating him, ama are people just playing along because they're getting these houses? So what do you think? And you, if you lived in the slums, ajua, and then you ended up getting Izima house, affordable housing, would that change your mind and make you a two-term person? And let me know, man. Yeah, and good morning. Eko nene.